to the returning Liverpool show, man. You know, we ain't done this show for a while. That's on me, guys, as well. That's on me. It's just been too busy with stuff, over the last few weeks. But we're back, guys. We're back. And, we're talking about the show about the best club in the world. None of these shows about teams who needing it desperate for an interim manager at the moment. No talk about teams dead teams from North London who are getting pam 4-0 when they think they're back. No talk about some back five merchants. We're back with the proper team in England, man, the proper team. So I'll introduce as well my three co-hosts. First co-host on the show, my guy Saint. How you doing, bro? You good?
Good, bro. Good to be back, man. It's been a little while still. So yeah, man.
Been a while, man.
I'm here with the fuckeries, bro. You know them way there. Like, good to have the man them with me, man.
Yeah, good to hear it, man. Good to hear it. It's good to be back, man, with you. I ain't done a show with you for a while still, I can't lie.
Hot minute.
Been a while. Hot minute, man.
Had to give the people what they wanted. We're back.
Exactly, man. People what they wanted, man. Exactly. Also, I'll big up my second co-host as well. The best pro clubs player on the team, on the Sarcasm City TV
appreciate that, Ryan. Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
I'll get on to you in a bit. Yeah, the Maverick, my guy Mons. How you doing, bro? You good?
Not too bad, man. It feels good to be on the channel again. It's been a while. Definitely have to make this the regular occurrence for real.
Yeah.
Feels good being around my family. They're saying we never walk alone out here.
Yeah.
As I said, they don't want short hair months back. As I said, new me, new hairline. You know what I'm saying? So also I got a little bit of bum fluff now. So you know what I'm saying? I'm actually looking. No, I'm not really looking my age, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But,
back in the day when man could reinvent his hairline and that. Remember them days? They were good days, bro. They were good days.
But,
it's a Tuesday, man, to do some wild shit. Oh, I remember them days, bro.
But listen, it's again always an honor to have me on the channel. Make sure you go and subscribe to Sarcasm City TV. Smash a like, become a member. Links down there. Subscribe to Big 6 Months also, man. We got some top stuff over there. So
yeah, people, make sure you subscribe to Big 6 Months and Saint LSC TV, two great channels, man. So make sure you go subscribe there, people. And I'll also introduce, the new co-host actually of this show. New co-host. You've seen him on this channel a lot now. I think you've been a regular for maybe 1-2 months, bro. Am I right?
Yeah, about 1-2 months now.
Yeah, NBA watch-alongs, Q&As, etc. Our best right back in Sarcasm City TV Pro Club's history. Introducing my guy Cams. How you doing, bro? You good?
I'm good, bro. As always, I'm good.
That's my guy, man. That's my guy. So we'll speak of Liverpool show. We ain't done this show for a while still. So because we ain't done it for a while, let's get all our thoughts on the season so far as a whole so far. So Nick, I'll go to you first, my bro. What do you think of our almost the first half of the season still so far?
Yeah, you know what? It's not been bad, to be fair. It's not been bad on a whole. When you look at it like as a whole, when you come out of it and you actually look at it, it hasn't actually been too bad. Do you know what I mean? We only lost our first game not too long ago. In all honesty, though, if I'm being honest, I'm one that would have preferred us to lose earlier than we did. Do you know what I mean? I could see things weren't great with the team, and I wish we'd just taken a loss then, as opposed to like the draws have really killed us. The draws, for us to have only lost one game, and if Arsenal would have beaten us, they would have been 2 points above us, shows you what draws does. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I couldn't even believe that. But generally speaking, it's been good. It hasn't been so bad. The one thing, obviously, I don't even want to say it, but it's the same thing that happened last season. It's just a different area of the pitch. It's the injuries, man. Injuries are starting to and to be very honest with you, hopefully we're starting to get over them. We're getting players back now. But at one point it was looking a bit dire, man. In that midfield, it was looking really, really, really scarce, man. And that's the time when I was really kicking myself and being like, not getting a replacement for Wijnaldum is going to bite us in the arse, innit? But if I'm honest with you, like I said, if we can get the injuries down, I'm quite impressed with what I've seen from some of the fringe players. When I say fringe players, players that weren't really in, do you know what I mean, in the first 11, such as Keita, such as Ox. What I've seen from them when they've come in and played has been really, really encouraging. So, like, I think there is enough there just about if we can keep fit. If we can't, then it's just going to be peak, and we're going to see very much the same things we did last season and pitchy patchy teams and trying to, do you know what I mean? But no, it's been good. One thing that I would say so far that I've seen is maybe I would hope in the second half of the season that Klopp's reluctantness to maybe play those in form, as opposed to maybe going to his favourites, he might start to actually, do you know what I mean, do that, because the Robertson Simicast thing, do you know what I mean? In saying that though,
I think that's the best example of like his loyalty towards players, and that's, you know, one negative about him this season so far.
And Bobby sometimes, Bobby has been amazing though, but Bobby sometimes prior has been, he's been like his class favourite. However, in saying that, maybe Klopp is doing the whole psychological thing. Who knows? Because when Robbo came on for the 20 minutes that he did against Porto, he looked like a man possessed. He looked like old school Robbo.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked good.
So I don't know, but like, yeah, but other than that, I mean, it's been pretty good. It hasn't been too bad. We've been packing in goals, man, bro. Yeah. Like, and that's always good. And I think our defense will get better. It has levels to get better, and I think it will get better. So I'm just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that, bro. I hear that, man. Yeah, like I say, attack's not really been the issue, if I'm being honest. You know, even in the West Ham game where I thought we couldn't really get our game going, we still scored twice and probably should have had a couple more as well. So scoring goals ain't been an issue, but obviously, you know, we're just leaking too many in my opinion.
Bro, we've got the two top scorers in the league.
Top scorers in the league. We have. Yeah, exactly. Cams, I'll go to you actually. What do you think of our start to the season so far?
I think it's been good. It could have been a lot better. Like, game management's been something I've been looking at. That's been quite an issue for us. Where we've gone up in games, we've not killed the game. Like, one instance I remember, we were 3-2 up against Brentford, and Salah had a chance to kill the game, make it 4-2, and he didn't take the chance. He put it over, and then we went on to draw that game against Atletico Madrid. We were 2 up, and we let him straight back in the game. Like, just these little moments in games where as game management isn't great. It's been bugging me. Yeah, another one, Brighton.
I think Brighton's
really
the biggest example.
Me. Yeah, definitely. I'd say that as well. Really irritating.
Yeah, I hear that, man. For me, the game management has actually been the biggest issue so far this season for me, in terms of, you know, this never used to be the case with us. If, you know, in the 2 seasons we were winning the trophies, you know, like 2018, 19, if we, went ahead, I'd be so confident that we'd be able to see the game out. But that's just not being the case this season, man. We go 1 or 2-0 up in a lot of these games, and, you know, we just, you know, let it fall. We just, maybe, would you say bottle it? I'm not sure. But for me, the Brighton one was the one where I was like, whoa, this is quite bad, in terms of 2-0 up, looking pretty comfortable in the first half, and then suddenly they get
Trossard could have made it 3-2 as well.
We're too complacent, I feel.
Yeah, they should have won.
The best word to use.
That game stunk of arrogance.
Yeah, way too complacent.
Actually, I've got a question for you, actually. Which performance was worse, the Brighton one or the West Ham one?
The Brighton one.
Because West Ham were just...
They actually played well.
We didn't look like scoring for most of the game. So at least with Brighton, we were cruising. I mean, you saw our foot come off the pedal, especially when Naby Keita departed.
Yeah, that was a big one actually in that game when Ox came on. I mean, Ox, I think, got the assist for the second goal, I think, but you know, we were just getting bypassed in midfield too much.
Yeah, it was bad.
The ball retention in midfield wasn't too great. Brighton were actually controlling the game in the second half, and they should have gone on and won it. You know, we barely created anything in that second half from what I remember. So yeah, I hear that still. Mons, I'll go to you actually. What do you think overall of our start to the season? This includes like all competitions as well, you know, Premier League, Champions League, etc.
Premier League, I feel like we should be a little bit closer to Chelsea. I just feel like that West Ham game, we will talk about our deficiencies in terms of bottling certain games, but let's be honest, if that West Ham game is a dub, then all of a sudden we are we are 1 point behind Chelsea. It's 1 point, isn't it?
Yeah.
We'd be 1 point behind you. We'd be 1
right.
point
So this is what I mean. So like you see how one loss, that's where we got caught off the pace changes our whole outlook on the season, because let's be honest, the general narrative around Liverpool in the Premier League this season is that the attack has not been a problem, scoring more goals than ever, matching our 1982 tally of 55 after 19 games in all comps, I believe. And you know, you look at the back line, and even though we have conceded more goals than we like to concede, we've only lost 1 game in the Prem. Lost 1 game. Yeah. I wouldn't, like, as I said, if that West Ham game was a dub, I don't think as many of us are questioning our defense as much as we are. I feel like even though our defense hasn't been as solid as it usually is, I feel like we have been unlucky in some instances, in the sense that, you know, the Man City equaliser, deflection of Matip, 2 of the Brighton goals, balls pinballing around the box.
The first one, I think Brighton was the one.
The first one was just
and the first one, Brighton was a cross. Do you know what I mean? It was a cross that flies into the top corner. So if you really look at that, I'm not the guy that goes, "Oh, we were just unlucky," but in some of those instances, we were unlucky. That cross doesn't go in for Brighton; they go in 2-0 down. Game's pretty much done. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Brighton, we should have won that game. The amount of their goals are crap. I'm sorry, Brighton's goals were crap. The ball just bouncing around. Maybe the first goal was a neat flick from Tony, but not good at, like, nothing to really be breaking our lines. In terms of core defending, the only team to really spin us and break us down in a swift attack was Fornals' goal. Fornals' goal.
And the 2 others were set pieces, I think, weren't they? In the West.
Yeah, the 2 others were set pieces. So Fornals' first, the second, so the goal to make it 2-1. Yeah. And
one.
And the 2 Atletico goals, the 2 that we, in the 3-2 win in the first leg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and obviously that is, listen, there's no shame.
The one where Kate was sleeping, that one.
The one where
Felix
Van Dyke was looking the wrong way. Remember,
Naby was sleeping that game.
Oh yeah, bro. I wouldn't even say he was sleeping. G. Felix just fucked him up with a shoulder drop. G. Fucked him up.
Felix can do that to anyone still.
This is what I'm saying.
Come on, man. You got to be better. You got to have.
He has to do better
bro,
still. He
has to be better. But bro, like, I guarantee you, Henderson's falling. The only person who's not falling for that is Fabinho. I promise you, most men are getting. Bro, did you see what he did? He flicked one way, painted the other way.
If it was,
Jarvis is not slouch.
Man would have said the same thing,
bro. Like, I just think the way he got twisted, like, because it's Keita, it's gonna be worse because Keita gets twisted anyways. But I think enough man would have got twisted by that skill.
In all honesty, though, I actually think Keita's defensive nous is quite good. That's why I don't think
it's better than what people give him credit
in transition. He's slower than he needs a walking stick.
He's all right.
He needs a walking stick in defensive transition, in my opinion. But
I don't think he's like anything amazing defensively. But I do think he's not as bad as what people make out, in my opinion.
Until Ox sorted himself out, them games where Ox was missing, we was like, it was Keita's. He isn't doing what Keita was doing. That's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm saying.
But that's the thing. This is why I really think we do have more depth than we think, and that's what I'm going to get onto. So, again, I think we've been unlucky in instances. Should have been better in other instances. But if you look at in a whole, Champions League, duppied it up, badded it up. Even the iffy performances, and there weren't many iffy performances. I'd say there was iffy phases in games, maybe half an hour of an iffy phase. Apart from that, dominated everywhere. Group of death. We were the Grim Reaper in the group of death. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean that group of death.
Man came to Asgard and got purged. It's that simple. And on top of that, I'd say, I'm kind of trusting that. I'm not saying we have depth. I still think we need signings because of our injuries. But in terms of player trust, I'm trusting a few of my players more now that Klopp is trusting them. I said from time, allow Ox in it, allow him. Like, yeah, cool. Like, he has his deficiencies, but allow man like Oxtel, because give him a run of games and he's going to look like he's a midfield that works in the club. He's going to look like a midfielder that goes in the cog in the machine. And now that he's had a run of games, he's starting to churn out, like, okay, last 2 games, he started to churn out decent performances. Like,
very good against Arsenal. Very good.
Yeah, like, he's starting to churn out decent performances. Now he's starting to drive and shoot. I think his end product isn't as good as what it was. I think that's maybe because he's trying to prove himself more so than him being tactically inept, in my opinion. But Yeah, and then of course, Cater as well, who found his feet. He was really in some good form. So I'm looking at some of these players that wouldn't start in my first choice midfield. And I'm going, well, if these men get a run of games, there's a reason why they're at the club. Do you know what I mean?
What is everyone's?
You know what? Can I put something out there? Can I put something out there?
Yeah, go on, man.
Fab, Ox, Thiago looks like one of the most balanced midfields we've had in quite a while.
No, I don't think that's balanced, man. I can't lie. I think to make it balanced, I think the most balanced midfield is probably Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, in my opinion.
It probably is, but you know what it is? That's still a slow midfield. Ox is still pretty quick in it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's quick and
very direct. He's very direct as well.
This Ox, not like Brighton Ox. This Ox.
Like, if this was 17-18 Ox, by the way, this midfield would be boosty.
The way Ox has been playing in terms of like I said, his directness, like him actually covering, giving Thiago space to like do what he's doing. Like, it is actually more balanced than you would think, bro. I would like to see this in the Southampton game, bro. Just carry
Would
on.
you try it out tomorrow?
Facts. No, Ox needs to start for me. Ox has to start. These man, that's what I'm saying. These men just need a run of games, man. And I think the same goes for Joe Gomez. If Joe Gomez gets 5 run of games, we see the Joe Gomez of old. If he gets 5, okay, maybe not 5 games, maybe 6, 7 games, I see the Joe Gomez of old. Same with maybe Konate as well. I feel like the fact that Konate can come in.
Konate needs to learn, I think.
He still gives me Sacco vibes, but he's so quick and fast. When a man gets past him, I still don't fear.
Sacco.
No, just when he runs with the ball. Just when he dribbles. But Sacco was legit. We done him dirty, but Sacco at times was hard. Like, he was actually
he was like a caravan trying to turn. See that 180 turn, brother? It was like a
you can't lie though. The attackers didn't want it against Sacco though. Let's be real.
Yeah, Sacco was unorthodox. Whenever he got the ball, it just looked mad shaky still. Like, but
he actually wasn't that bad on the ball. He just didn't look good on the man.
Klopp binged him.
Yeah, and it turned out to be fake as well. That's so tapped. But that's not even part of the conversation today. But yeah, in terms of our season, I'm impressed with this. Yeah, like Fink said, I'm impressed with some of the fringe players, really, and honestly, like, I'm really glad. Even Minamino to an extent, when he's played, he scored. No cap,
bro.
No cap.
That's my guy. I've been defending Minamino.
His problem for me was his physicality. Like, he was getting bodied a lot.
Still.
He's getting bodied.
Yeah. He's bulked up a little bit. I still think he's got a long way to go, and he does look off it. Like, even when he played the other day, like against Porto, I still feel like parts of his game drastically need to improve a little bit. But listen, it's fringe player, innit? I'm not going to expect him to be world class. So I'm happy with the season so far. I just would have liked to really have that West Ham game for me was so crucial and so needed to be a win. When Chelsea drop points, you don't drop points the same week Chelsea drop points. You just don't do it. So now we take it a week at a time. We just hope Man U can get a job done, and then we go get our business done at Southampton. I guess
that's why it makes it. That's why it makes this a bit more vital, because we're 3 o'clock on the Saturday, and then we can chill.
Yeah,
get
our job done, innit?
And then, do you know what I mean? We can wait until, because them lot don't play until Sunday, and they've got West Ham and Chelsea and
just putting pressure on those 2 teams, which is good at the end of the day. That's all we can do, you know.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I get that still. But speaking of the midfield, we were obviously discussing the midfield options there. What is everyone's strongest midfield on paper?
As long as Thiago
right now,
that third player is. Like,
from who's fit right now?
Yeah, just if all of them were fit, what's our strongest midfield 3?
It's I'm going Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago. However, like, there are deficiencies in the midfield in terms of mobility.
But don't you think with that midfield 3 that we'd be able to just dominate the ball so much?
Yeah.
So if you're dominating the ball so much, you don't really need as much mobility in that midfield, because if you got the ball, you're just pinning.
You don't need as many legs. We just need like a Thiago with those line breaking passes, players like that can like break teams down and like can pin them back.
The only thing about that, right? I get that. The only thing that I would maybe throw in devil's advocate, because I would say that was probably our strongest midfield. However, sometimes I find, especially with low block teams, that the movement of others can be a little bit restricted, and then we find, because Thiago's the only creative midfielder that we can, and because he is so techie with it, that guys tend to stand and wait and watch. Do you know them ones there? And like, oh, what can you do, kind of thing. And like, it does limit us creatively a little bit. And then, do you know what I mean? That's when Trent has to like bomb forward. And that I feel like if we've got someone like an Ox, it gives us a different facet. Do you know what I mean? Someone who can like drive with the ball, and do you know what I mean? And then and then the creativity is a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? It's coming from a little bit more than just Thiago, who's just spraying the ball and people are just watching him do it. And like, sometimes I'm like, where's the movement? Like, give him something to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'd say.
Yeah, I get that. But speaking of midfielders as well, what do you guys make of Curtis Jones when he's played so far this season? I'll go to you first in this, Cams.
I don't think he's been too impressive. He's got that goal against Brentford, which was decent, but yeah.
I actually thought he was quite poor against Brentford as well.
Yeah, he wouldn't get near the starting lineup for me. He's still a squad player in my opinion. He's still got a long way to go. Long way. Like, look, you saw when Harvey Elliott came in, he just straight away took that spot that Curtis Jones should have had. Like, he took his spot straight away.
Yeah, I heard that. I think with actually, Nick, I'll go to you as well on this question first. And what do you think of Curtis Jones so far this season when he's played?
I thought he's shown some bright spots, to be fair. I thought he hasn't been, I mean, all in all, I don't think he's been great.
Yeah.
But for how Klopp's developing him, I think he's been all right. You know what I mean? He's learning the game and he's done what he has to do. He's been a bit underwhelming in a few games. And like I said, I think he's shown some bright spots in a few games.
Yeah.
But he's a young player, do you know what I mean? And you're going to get inconsistencies from him. So like, and the role in which he's playing, wants to play, it's quite a tough role. It's like do you know what I mean? It's like the Thiago kind of a role, do you know what I mean? And it does take nurturing. So like, I'm happy that he kind of gets the minutes as and when he can, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that, man. Mont, question to you as well. What do you think of Curtis Jones so far this season when he's played?
I think he started the season very well when he came in, actually.
What was his first game again? Does anyone remember? Was it?
When in the champs?
Yeah, because I was going to say,
was it Brentford?
I think did he have a game before that? Because
I'm not sure.
I'm sure he did. Because I'm sure he scored.
Yeah. I thought it was in the champ. He started one of the games in the champs.
Did he start Porto?
It was Milan. Yeah. Milan was the first game, I think.
Did he start against Milan?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know. Still, I forgot.
No, he didn't start against Milan. He didn't.
It would have been against Brentford or Porto then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it was one of the Champions League games. He did start though. I know he definitely started.
He started against Porto and he balled out.
He started getting the game time when Harvey Elliott got injured.
Yeah. Harvey Elliott got injured against Leeds, so Jones wouldn't have. Unless Jones played the Carabao Cup game.
First start with Brentford.
He might have scored in the Carabao Cup game. I'm not sure, but yeah. In terms of Curtis Jones,
I feel like when he came in after Harvey Elliott's injury, like even people were saying, like I was seeing it all over Twitter. People were like, "Wow!" As soon as people started saying Harvey Elliott's better than Curtis Jones, Curtis Jones said, "Yeah, hold my cup." Do you know what I mean? Hold my drink. You know what I mean? Because he did them first few games for me.
Yeah, I remember he balled out against Porto away. I remember when.
Yeah, like bro, he was balling out. Like so, obviously, he was doing well. And then I think when Fabinho got his injury, his performances started to drop off because he's a midfielder that needs that stability, much like Thiago. He needs that stability, or you will see his you will see his defensive frailties very often. It will be very obvious. So I think he's one of those midfielders that's reliant on his DM. So because I guess Fabinho got injured quite early on when he was getting his run of games, that's when his performances did start to drop. And I wouldn't even say offensively. I think offensively he's never really been an issue. I just think defensively and maybe a little bit discipline-wise, because he's naturally a 10, I feel like it is a bit harder for him. But I feel like we are being a bit too harsh on him. I personally have been being too harsh. You know, I know when he played against, it was Preston, but when he played against Preston, he bossed them. Best player on the pitch.
Yeah.
Easily. Like, it wasn't no joke. Like, easy on the pitch. I know he started against Brighton, but, like, I don't think he had a bad game against Brighton. I think the midfield got bypassed. And, like, I'm not going to put that down to maybe what Curtis Jones. If you look at the midfield, had frailties anyway in the midfield. So again, it's a bit difficult. I feel like the latter side of his performances have been questionable.
Yeah.
But when he started off, I think he was doing really well coming off that right side of midfield, left side of midfield. I just feel we're being too harsh on him as a fan base right now because we've been enlightened by Harvey Elliott's greatness.
Yeah. Nah, I hear that, man. I hear that about Jones. I think with Jones, I do think you can clearly see with him the abilities there, the talents there. He's got, in my opinion, I do think he's got a very high ceiling. I just think there are a few deficiencies in his game that I think, he needs to be coached a bit more. Obviously, Klopp's working on him in training. We all know that. But, he just needs more coaching, more time. I do think a big problem that a lot of people say, and there is a problem, is that he does take too long to release the ball. I think he needs to be more aware of the players around him at times when he gets the ball. He needs to, have wing mirrors, essentially. He needs to know what's around him. I think he thinks he has more time than what he actually has. But it'll come, man. He's only young still. It'll just come with more game time and experience at the end of the day. He's clearly got the ability. And just to confirm from you guys, has he shown all of you that he has got a long-term future at the club?
Oh, facts, easily.
Yeah,
easily. Yeah. Like people weren't shouting Curtis Jones ain't good enough when you got 4 assists when you got 3 assists against Porto and you got another assist the game after that, and then putting a man of match performance against Preston. People weren't saying that. It's just the reactionary side of the Liverpool fan base, in my opinion.
No, I hear that.
Standards, though, we have standards. We've got high standards. That's all it is.
What? So he's supposed to get 3 assists every other game.
Nah, I don't think it's that. I just think we have very high standards for because we've seen Harvey come in, and we expect that from Curtis Jones.
Harvey, as good as Harvey is, he has 1 GA.
Yeah, but I mean, how he's come in and he's settled straight into the team.
Yeah, Harvey's a baller. Harvey's a baller, and he's better than Curtis Jones. But you got to remember, Harvey Elliott's playing in more of a traditional position. Curtis Jones has not once played in a position where he gets to play lone 10. Not once. Not once.
He's more of an 8. He's played
and I hate to use the whole system thing. He's not an 8. I don't think he's a natural 8. I think he's that good that he's still able to play 8 in a working Liverpool system. So he's good enough. Obviously, he needs stability. But as I said, the reactionary side of it is killing me because when he got the 4 assists in 100 minutes, oh my God, Kais. Do you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden it's, is he good enough? I'm not saying this to any of you guys. This is just generally what I see on Twitter.
I've seen it. I've seen it, man.
And
I've seen it. Yeah.
I just don't rate that because I said, would you expect my man to do that? Obviously, he's not as good as Curtis Jones. He's not as good as Harvey Elliott. But in terms of statistical output and effectiveness in the game, Curtis Jones is better than Harvey Elliott, bro. Curtis Jones will get you more goals. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Harvey Elliott is a better footballer and his ceiling is higher. But Curtis Jones will get you goals from that midfield. He's the only one that's going to go and get you goals from our midfield, from our workers.
Naby, when he plays.
Nah, bro. Naby, I know Naby's got the 2 goals, the 2 outstanding volleys, and the goal against Man United, but he hasn't done that in
I do think if Naby
is a more of a goal threat than Curtis Jones, but
Naby's a better goal threat than Curtis Jones.
No, I agree. I think he is.
I'm not gonna lie. I think so as well. I'm not gonna lie.
I think he is.
I disagree with that.
I think Naby's more of a goal threat. Yeah, but that's GA. That's a sit. I do. If Naby's able to play his game, it's just he hasn't been able to show that. And
yeah, the thing is with Naby, whilst he has been at Liverpool, obviously he's a stop-start career, But thing is, in games he has played, he has scored some goals. That's the thing. It's just that, like Nick said, he's just never there to play most of the time. He has scored, quite a few goals.
But could you say that at the same time, Curtis Jones hasn't played because he's on the youngster team? So he's not going to walk into the team. It's the same differences in performances, in appearances.
I mean, I hear that still, but I just think, Curtis Jones, even when, he has played, quite a few times over the last couple of years, quite a few times in the first half of last season, and he doesn't really offer a goal threat like Naby does, in my opinion.
I don't know. Curtis Jones played 6 times in 1920. He had 24 appearances. I think most of them were off the bench last year, and he's played 5 games this year as a goal and assist, and he has 3 assists in the chance.
Yeah, I hear that. No, I rate Curtis Jones, but I just think if you're looking for a midfielder who'll get you a goal, I would probably go for Naby over him. in my opinion. I'd probably go for Naby's probably.
Don't say that, but I hear it. You're gonna have to
the biggest goal threat from midfield, in my opinion.
We're not giving Ox a shout, no? Ox not getting a shout.
No, Ox has a shout, but he's never ever gonna the second our midfield gets fit again, he's back to the bench, innit?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I hear that.
It's just that, innit? Like Ox, like even Thiago said, Ox probably the best striker of a ball from long range that we have.
Yeah, he gets power on it, so he gets a lot of power on it, and when Ox hit it, it stays hitting it. You know, that's the thing.
Can we talk about Thiago's goal, please?
Yeah, let's talk about Thiago. Speaking of goals from midfield, let's talk about that still. You know what? I didn't deep how good that goal actually was.
Bro, you need to watch it in the second angle.
The replay.
The angle. Oh.
When you're looking through all the angles the next day and you realise how hard that technique is, that I actually think it's one of the goals of the season so far.
Bro, that's a Puskas worthy goal.
You think?
Worthy. Yeah. The tech on that is a very, very hard shot.
I think people don't realize how hard that technique probably is.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He had to move his body around the ball. Like, I'm going to be catching one of them green today on pro clubs from outside the box. Trust me.
Bro, that was a grass cutter. You saw it like hovering over the grass.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the technique he gets on that, man, and cuts across it as well. Like, it was beautiful, man, I can't lie.
Does any other player in our team score that? Any other player?
What, scored that volley?
Scored that goal that he scored. Does any other player?
Fabinho on his day. I've seen him. Some of Fabinho's hits stay hit. He just never shoots. He doesn't even try to shoot.
I think scoring that kind of volley with that technique, I think Thiago's probably the only player capable of doing that in our team.
We've got one of the most techiest midfielders in the world.
Yeah.
Most technical players in the world. And this,
you know what? Let me not lie. Henderson against Milan, very similar in the technique.
No, that's not.
It was a volley, but it's like it's not the same, innit?
It's not the same ilk, but that Henderson volley, watch it back. That Henderson volley was extremely, and it came in much faster than did Thiago.
Oh yeah.
I heard that Henderson goal was brilliant, but I just think Thiago's was better still. I think Thiago's was the technique.
Guys, just so I can say, yeah, Premier League record, yeah, for Naby Keita, appearances 60, goals 6, assists 5, and for Jones, 35 appearances, and it's 3 assists, 3 goals. So they're roughly about the same, to be very honest.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Well, in how many less appearances?
Huh?
Was how much less appearances did Curtis Jones have?
Kind of half the appearances and half the goals. So it kind of like
half the appearances, half the goals, and half. So and like, you know what I mean? And that's why I say it's roughly. So for you to be like twisting up your face when we're telling you that Naby, it's not that. It's not that.
Curtis, I got you. Don't worry,
I got you. Got Curtis in it, but we're just like.
No one was. That's what I'm saying. We weren't like you were mad, but we said no. Like what?
No, it was not. Do you know what it is? I said you man were just like, nah, it's Naby. You know what I'm saying? I had to just, obviously, thank you, Statman Nick, love that. But no. What do you think of that? In terms of that thing, Nick? We said Henderson's goal. I also think because some of Henderson's outside the box shooting has been very good. He's got the goal at Brighton as well. He's been striking the ball pretty well. Henderson,
he has.
Really well, really well.
Yeah, even for England, spread a bit of composure in front of goal for England.
He's got a
Henderson goes in that category. Henderson goes in that category of like he only scores bangers.
Yeah, when he scores a goal, it's a banger still. Yeah.
He only scores bangers, bro. Like I'm trying to think, when's the last tap in that?
Henderson goal against Chelsea, 16-17.
I remember he scored a tap in against Southampton a couple of years ago when Bobby played it across.
Oh yeah.
When he tapped it home,
a couple years ago. So I'm saying,
but the thing is with Henderson, I generally think his shooting ability is way better than what we see because he has a certain role to play and he's very disciplined.
Yeah, he just doesn't get the opportunity to shoot often. And
when he does,
first time, bang.
And when I remember that he had a competition with Suarez and Coates and someone else. And everyone expected like Suarez to just win the competition. Henderson won, and this was like the Henderson that we will cast.
Yeah, this was Henderson back in like 2012 times and stuff like that.
Yeah, this was the Henderson.
He's been techie, bro. He's been techie.
Like, bro, Henderson was slapping them bins.
He is techie.
He's not techie, but he's techie, bro.
From time he beat Suarez, prime Suarez in like all the competitions, like the free kicks, the kick ups, the first time shots. I was like, is Suarez? Wait, what's going on? Like, bro, I was baffed. But like, yeah, man, technically he is a lot better than what we see. He's just so disciplined. I'm gonna stick with that point.
Yeah.
He's just a good player at the end of the day, in my opinion. Like he's very intelligent player, very disciplined, very good leader, and decent. He's got his football intelligence, his football brain is up there still. Like you can't fault his football brain at all.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the strongest part of his game, to be honest.
100%.
Oh, he's not got a terrible vision either. His vision's
his long range passing, like as I said, one speaks about his assist to Salah against Man U. No one speaks about that.
Oh, that was a great pass. That was
if Kevin De Bruyne makes that, we're saying, yo, that's standard Kevin De Bruyne.
That for me, that pass is as good as Cancelo's pass to Sterling. I'm sorry, half volley outside the foot.
Cancelo's is better still,
bro. Cancelo had all the time in the world to pick that pass. Henderson has the ball falling to him, half volley outside to the foot.
He's got men around him. He's got Man United players around him. He has to do it quickly.
Yeah, like, bro, obviously Cancelo's pass was world class. Don't get me twisted. Again, we see Trent do that all the time, innit? Not gonna lie. It's just about who finishes it. But like that pass from Henderson, and I think man, I need to go and watch it back. The man's under pressure, the ball's falling to him, he has no time to do it, and he does it on the half volley. Are you crazy, fam? Are you crazy? You crazy. People don't talk about, don't say he shouts a lot. That's what they say.
Was this the outside of the boot one?
Yeah, for Salah at Old Trafford, yeah.
Mad,
the fifth goal, I think it was, yeah.
Mad.
Because how about this? If Thiago plays that pass that Henderson plays, we're screaming for days.
Yeah.
We're screaming for days. Even if shout out to Thiago's passing for Mane, that goal should never have been offside, by the way.
I know that pass was disgusting.
That was disgusting.
Off the half, bang. I said, Jesus, how did you even see that? Matty.
Yeah, but actually, still speaking on the midfield, I actually said the other day that I think our two most important midfielders are actually Fabinho and Thiago. What do you guys think of that? Do you agree with me, or would you still say it's probably Fabinho and Henderson?
What do you mean?
Our two most important midfielders.
I think it depends what team, to be very honest with you.
Fab's always going to be one of them.
Yeah, Fab's going to be there. But if it's a low block team, I'd say probably Thiago. Yeah. And if it's a team that we can play, I'd say probably Hendo, because then he covers Trent. Do you know what I mean? And Trent's the one that's up there just banging it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I really, it depends on the team for me personally. I'd say which is a bigger loss. But you're right, Fabinho, Flacco.
Yeah, Fabinho's always going to be the most important one. But I think Thiago showed his importance to the team so much against Arsenal in terms of just the way we were able to manage the game and sustain more attacks in terms of when we went 2-0 up. Obviously we've seen what we can be like this season when we go 2-0 up, like we said earlier on, Atletico Madrid, Brighton, and what we can be like managing out games. But against Arsenal, it was so comfortable. Don't get me wrong, Arsenal aren't good in it, but just the way we were able to keep possession, retain the ball so easily, just control the game. Thiago controlled the game, I thought, for the rest of that game. And then we were able to pick off Arsenal when we could. And obviously we get 2 more goals. But I think that showed why Thiago is so important to the team in terms of we're able to manage games more easily with him. You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. Facts.
Yeah, man. So, obviously, I was asking you earlier on about Curtis Jones, but I actually wanted to ask you about how you think our only signing of the summer has gone so far, Kanate, when he's played. How do you guys think he's done when he's been in the team? I'll go to you first. I'll go to you first, then Mons, bro.
Who in the team?
Kanate. How do you think he's done so far?
Guy's a walking battering ram, innit? Eats yam for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Clearly, he loves anime, so I love him. Like a good Kanai performance, and he just tweets a gif of Goku doing a Kamehameha. Like, how can you not like the guy? Like, sorry, just
I love that.
Like, just away from the point. Like, when your man are doing that, it's hard for you to even. I can't even criticize, man. But he did have an iffy performance. Was against Brighton that he started.
Yeah, he was poor against Brighton.
It was Brighton.
Yeah, and I think that wasn't even because of his defensive frailty. I think it was just his game IQ in terms of coming forward.
Stuff.
Yeah, he didn't need to come forward. I like the fact that he tries to pass it in between the lines. I've got no issue with that. But when he comes forward to try and win it, when it makes a mistake and he goes, shit, I made a mistake, and then he dives forward, I know he's got the pace to recover and still give it back, but you shouldn't ever have to recover, because then Trent's not going to recover for you, bro.
Yeah.
He's not going to recover for you, G.
Yeah.
I know you think it's covering you, but not Trent, not Arnold. You know what I'm saying? Not Alexander. None of the first three names that he has. So, you get it? So, but apart from that, in Man United performance was immaculate. The appearance he made in the champs, really good.
Was that against
Was that Milan?
Was that midweek? No, I don't think he played against Milan. That was Matip and Gomez, I think.
Was it Porto?
He played against Porto. He played against Porto.
There was one appearance in the champs, so I was quite impressed with him as well.
I thought he was quite shaky the other day against Porto.
And he started first game of the season. Did he start quite early in the season against did he start?
Nah, his first game was against Palace.
Palace, innit? Yeah, big performance against Palace. Big performance against Palace. I remember saying that as well. Yeah, so I think again he's had one bad performance in the three that he's had, and he's kind of come in where he's not had to run a game. Klopp's already told him a few nights before, listen, you're going to be starting, you're going to have to do a job, and he's done what he's needed to do. And even the Brighton game, even though he got caught out a few times, I think that was also down to the midfield protection, not just him.
Oh yeah, 100. There were a few factors in that game, to be fair.
So
the whole team had to take responsibility for that performance.
100%. I'm impressed with him. I want to see more. I feel like he needs to be a bit more. Less recovery, more prevention before cure sort of thing. But at the same time, I'm happy, man. I'm sound with Konate. I think we have a serious defender on our hands. We have 4 quality centre backs. Like, I'm deep in it.
Bro, we got
the best out
of Upamecano and Konate. We got the better player.
Yeah, because I'm not even shaky with that Phillips,
rubbish, man. Upamecano's rubbish, man.
Do you know what it is? Mukiele and Upamecano, we made them look so crap last year. Crap.
He was awful. But whenever I've seen Upamecano, man just looks so shaky. Whenever I've seen him play, he just looks bad.
Saka, he looks like a bad Saka, bro. Like, honestly, Mukiele looked. I think Mukiele looked worse. Mukiele, oh my lord. How can you be a centre back and wear pink boots and put in a performance like that? Oh my lord.
There's a reason he's still at Leipzig and the other man got moves.
Yeah. But Cams, I'll go to you also on Konate, man. What do you think of him so far this season when he's played?
I think he's been sound for what he's been asked to do. Obviously, the Brighton game was a bit iffy, but it's for the future, innit? Like, he's going to come in every now and then. He's going to be asked to do a job, but for what he's been asked to do, I think he's been calm.
Yeah, I hear that, man. Nick as well. Same question to you, bro. Konate so far this season. How do you think he's done?
Yeah, no. Listen, I like him, man. I like him. He's a like Monk said, he's a battering ram, man. And then when you look at his face, you're like, oh, you're actually a young youth. You're actually really young. Like, I'm telling you, anyone that's just lifting off Fred with one arm, like, and parking him off is definitely in my good books, man. I just feel like he, like it's been mentioned, his positional IQ sometimes needs to be a bit better.
Yeah.
I feel like he follows the ball a bit. That might be his biggest downfall. Like, he does follow the ball a bit, or especially on the wing, and he'll get kind of lost. And then, like you said, then he'll have to rely on his pace and his athleticism. But out my Eddie, you man are still wasting.
Big up
Eddie, man. Big up, my guy.
But yeah, but I do think that he's got time to go into the game, and I think we've got an absolute beast of a CB on our hands. And he just makes me smile every time I see him in the lineup. Not gonna lie, man. I'm like, yeah, done though. So yeah.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I think with Konate, I think he's a very good third choice centre back as well. Like, you know, I still think Van Dijk and Matip is the strongest centre back partnership that we've got. But Konate, man, I still think that he's not been, you know, I don't think he's been amazing, but I think he's shown more than enough to show that he's going to be a very good signing for us and a very good player in the future for us as well, long term.
Yeah.
I think he's shown more than enough for that. You know, like Nick said, there are some deficiencies in his game, like his, you know, positional IQ. I think that's probably the biggest thing, to be fair. But he's got all the physical attributes. He's got presence about him. He's good enough on the ball as well. So, you know, once he gets used to the system more, the league, and gets more game time, I think he'll be fine in the future long term. And yeah, as Eddie says, people smash the like button as well. So yeah, I think we've spoken about defensive midfield. Actually, speaking of defense, let's talk about Robertson and Tsimikas. Actually, thoughts on those two cams? Who would you start at the moment? Based on who would you just start at the moment if you were?
Tsimikas. I'm starting Tsimikas tomorrow. 100%.
You start tomorrow, yeah.
Yep. Let Robertson know that his place isn't solidified in the team, and like he said earlier, he came on against Porto and he was like someone lit a fire underneath him. He was everywhere.
Actually, speaking of Robertson, how much is his form concerned you? Because I don't think he's been good probably since maybe last February. I'd say since February, I don't think he's been good. And I'd say that nowhere near to the level that he was, over the last few years.
Yeah, we've got to be careful when we say not good because he's still been.
Yeah, because his not good is better than 95% of the left backs on the planet.
It's probably by their standards. Do you get what I mean?
By his own high standards, to be very honest.
Because he still don't concede goals down the side. No matter how bad he is, he still don't concede goals. We're literally angry. Listen, this is what we're angry at Robertson for. Not breaking the assist record like he has done for the past 3 years. That's what we're angry at him for. Not defensively. Like literally, this guy was getting hella assists. Now he's scared to cross it, and when he does cross it, he can't be the first man. That's what we're angry at him for.
Yeah, his crossing's not been on point still, especially by his standards. But speaking of Tsimikas, actually, how much has he impressed you? I'll go to you first, Mons. How much has he actually impressed you, and are you actually surprised by how well he's been playing when he's come into the team this season?
I'm gonna be that guy and I say I'm not that surprised, and I think I'm not that surprised because I'm one of those like preseason geeks in it. Like I do watch a lot of preseason in it.
I never watch preseason, bro. Legit, I never watch it.
He was touching up, man. As I said on the X videos thing, he was touching up, man. On
Yeah.
Like he was moving to man. Like he was moving to man. Disclaimer. He was moving to man on levels. Like, and the thing is, like, people will say, "Oh, we didn't play great opposition," but I've seen no change in his game since preseason. So this is how I know this is his level. Like he is generally at that level. Do you know what I mean? Some man will come up in preseason. The Solankis and the Rian Brewsters, big up Rian Brewster, that's my guy, but still, like the Solankis and the Rian Brewsters, like slapping goals top corner. When it comes to the real deal, Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the real deal, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, Tsimikas for me, I really like the finesse he puts on his crosses. I feel like he does need to get stuck in a little bit more. I want to see a little bit more tenacity, but I do think he's a slightly more defensively inept than Robbo. But right now, his attacking output is what we need, especially when Jota's playing.
Do you think there's any attributes of his game that is actually better than Robertson's?
Beating a man. He's good.
Beating a man in his right foot, being able to fake as well.
Yeah, being able to beat a man on his right foot. I'm not, because I'll be real now. He's not better than Robertson when it comes to getting the ball behind the halfway line, coming inside and beating a few man and playing the ball and driving forward. He's not better than Robertson at that.
Robertson beats them more with like pace and power, whereas Tsimikas plays more with.
But that's what I'm saying. But we're not going to do the who looks better doing it.
Yeah.
Robertson's still doing it.
Who's more effective is the main.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So,
but Tsimikas can do the fake, bring it on his right, and deliver a sweet ball. I ain't seen Robertson do that.
How high do you think Tsimikas' ceiling is actually? Ceiling in terms of, do you think his ceiling could actually surpass Robertson?
Nope.
You don't think so?
He will never beat the assist record. He will never be as defensively sound as Robertson.
We've got a good number two, though. We've got a very
great number two. But let's just not forget what Robertson's been on for the last, what he's been on. You know what I'm saying?
It's a shiny new toy, and people are like, "Oh, he's coming." He's that's all it is. It's recency bias. That's all it is.
And especially when the normal toy hasn't been on, nowhere near the level that he has been playing at over the last few years. It's obviously going to make Tsimikas. It's going to show Tsimikas in an even more positive light that he should be playing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, it just scares me a bit sometimes with the fan base sometimes, because I feel like if Trent has a bad run of form and we go and get a decent right back and he starts delivering a few crosses that are decent, or let's just say he's defensively just wham, defensively just don't let nothing past him, we're going to be saying, oh, it's a little bit something different than Trent. This is what what these two men have been doing, and I'm doing the loyal thing, but I think, man, his memory just like the memory's a bit thin, man. Robertson, this guy was a machine. I reckon, like he is a machine. Like Donny's he's tapped.
Yeah,
he'll put it like just like Nat Phillips. He'll run for a brick wall for you. He run for a brick wall.
Yeah.
So for me, just because you found someone who's a little bit more delicate on the ball, and is a great number 2 and is a very good technical footballer, doesn't mean we need to forget about that. Like this is what I mean. We have high standards, but we literally have the best left back on the planet.
It's not.
So I'm not about to do he needs to fight for his place thing too tough. Like
these guys were trying to say Alfonso, then they try to say Luke Shaw, but you know,
yeah, they tried it.
I still think Robertson's better than is the best left back in the world when he's on form. I still think that. Yeah.
You know, the common denominator in that was Robertson, always getting compared to Robertson, the benchmark.
Because he's the again, like Trent, he's the benchmark, bro. Like when Robertson drops form, it's not because he's defending badly. Just like Fabinho, when people were talking to me about Fabinho not being one of the best CDMs, how good Rice has been, I said, but you man are saying this because Fabinho does this every time he plays. It's natural human instinct. When something happens over and over again, you tend to not notice it anymore.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The man of churning out performances over and over and over again, you'll look for the nitpicks because that's what you have to do. You look for the nitpicks. If Salah hasn't scored, you look for the nitpicks. If Kane don't score in 3 games when he was before the season, Kane ain't scoring in 3 games. You're telling me he's on a drought. 3 games is a drought. Come on, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just that. Yeah.
Victims of their own success. That's what it is. It's victims of their own success.
Yeah. 100. Yeah. 100%.
I'm just glad we got both of them. I'm here for them.
We're so lucky to have both of them because I think both of these left backs could get into most teams in the league easily. Still, easily. Both of them will get into Man United's team, and I think.
You know what the funny thing is?
I could get into Man United's team playing right back.
Do you know when we signed Shimikas last season? Everyone was like, "Oh, Liverpool signed a Wi-Fi password." It's like, do you not think we look at the players we sign and think, "Yeah, he'll suit our system"? And when United signed Tellers, they were like, "Oh, we signed Tellers. They signed a Wi-Fi password. They don't even know who he is. Oh, no one knows who he is. Oh, is this, is that?" But like at the moment, who would you rather have?
Oh yeah, 100.
Answer me that. Like, it's a no-brainer.
I hear that, man. I hear that. So, actually, because we're on defense at the moment, obviously, let's speak on Van Dyke, actually, because how do you guys think he has done coming back from his injury overall so far this season? I'll go to you first on this, Nick.
I think he's done really well, man. I think people obviously expect. They see where he was, do you know what I mean, before the injury and just expect that again. And I think that's unrealistic. He's a human being, do you know what I mean? And in terms of actually like solidifying defense and like when I see his name, I feel like, I feel the opposite of Man United fans when they see Maguire, do you know what I mean? Like I feel like, we're gonna be all right, do you know what I mean? And that's him at like 75%.
Yeah.
He's still got levels to go. So yeah, man, I feel like I'm saying I'm not going to say that, he's been amazing, but he's been in terms of what I was expecting in terms of him coming back and, like what I know he's going to be by come the end of the season. Man's good, man. I'm happy.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I hear that. Same question to you, Mons, because I know earlier on in the season you thought that, I think it was you who thought that Van Dijk's maybe lost a bit of something. Do you still think that, or how do you think he's done overall?
No, I still think he's lost a bit of mobility and pace. Yeah. But I don't think that's because he'll never get it back. I said throughout, that's not going to come back until he plays about 25 games.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, in all comps, obviously. But, like, I think his IQ is still very high. I feel like it bails us out a lot of the time. I think the West Ham game, he had an immense performance in the West Ham game. Looked he looked more like himself. And that was a big challenge. Antonio, physically, when you're recovering from a knee injury, the last person you want to be running alongside is Antonio. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like where Matip was outshining him a lot, I feel like Van Dijk, again, is a very smart defender. I feel like he made it so he didn't need to do the mad thing that he's been doing for the last 3 years. It was more of a thing where he knows his defensive partner, knows how good Matip is, lets him sort of take charge. And then when he feels up to it, because he said he's still feeling the effects of his injury and he's still getting his way through. He said it himself. But he knows now that I think game by game, we're seeing more and more of Van Dijk, and he's becoming more and more of a presence. I was happy with Van Dijk on game week 2.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Nick, I'm happy. I was happy with 75% Van Dijk. So, Lord knows, I'm happy with him now. I'm over the moon. I just hope he can continue this form and just be the defender we all know he is.
I hear that, man. Yeah, I hear that. Cam, same to you as well. Thoughts on Van Dijk so far this season, coming back from his injury?
He's been better than I thought he'd be. I thought it'd take quite a while to like get back to like a decent level, but I think he's been very good. I'm not gonna lie, he's been very, very good. There's been a few moments where I thought he could have done better in that occasion, like against Atletico Madrid. There was
the one where he's looking the wrong way,
and I thought his body position could have been a bit better there. Maybe all Van Dijk's a bit better in that situation, but other than that, I've been impressed with him. He's slowly getting back to what he was. It's going to take a while, but I think he'll get there.
I hear that. Yeah, I agree. I hear that, man. I hear that. Actually, so we've spoken on defense, midfield. Let's go to attack. And obviously, if we go into attack, there's only, I think we all know who the first player we should talk about is. So speaking on Salah, got a question. Is this the best Salah that we are seeing? Is this better than 17-18 Salah?
Yes.
Yeah, Cam's, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go to you first.
Because his game's just matured a lot since then. I think this is better than 17-18 Salah personally.
I agree.
I think his game just matured a lot so much. Like he's become a better passer. I don't know if he's become more clinical, but his start to this season is better than his start to that season. But to be fair,
100%,
he kicked on. He kicked on in the second half of that season. So
yeah, he did.
Yeah, I think this is better. I think the best Salah we've seen. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I just don't know what's happened to him because you know my thoughts on Salah over the last few years. I've never doubted him as a goal scorer. I've always known he's a great goal scorer, but I have thought that in the last few seasons, I'd say since 17-18, his overall game has been questionable a lot of the time. But this season, he's just been absolutely just brilliant all round. Every part of his game's just been on point, man. So Mons, I'll go to you. Thoughts on Salah this season?
Best player in the world, unbelievable. Don't think he's been better than 17-18 so far for me. That season lives long in my memory. The fact that Coutinho came out of that team and he wanted to crack on even harder, that's stupid to me. Because I think the best football we've ever seen in the last 5 years is Coutinho, Firmino, Mane, and Salah. I think that's the best attacking football we've seen.
Problem is, I don't think we saw that. We only saw that for a few months.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, 7 past, man. 7.
Like we were, Donnies were getting. You see that front four, yo. But I think 17-18 for me. I think you see how Salah broke the goal scoring record by 32 goals. Could have broken it by more. 44 goals in all comps.
This season.
Three goals behind King Kenny. Because the record is 47 in all comps. He went and got 44. Like
in less games.
Huh?
In less games.
Yeah. So
Champions League as well was very, very good.
And I'm telling you, if he doesn't get injured and he scores in that final, he wins the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, no, he wins the Ballon d'Or if that happens, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So for me, I just feel like the Salah we're seeing now is the Salah we're seeing that hasn't had to change his game. I believe he changed up his game to be more of a goal scorer because of that shoulder injury. Do you know what I mean?
I was hearing him that he didn't really want to go 1v1 take on defenders anymore after what happened to him in that final.
Yeah, exactly. I think now Salah's got to the point where he's shaken off the injury completely and he doesn't have to rely on his maybe more static technical ability, and he's actually he's been able to be more mobile because 17-18, he was taking on man and threading through passes same way in 17-18, same way what we're seeing now. In fact, he was probably a little bit faster because he was a little bit younger. Do you know what I mean? He's the quality of goals like the Watford and the City goals, which were disgusting in so many levels. But bro, like man, don't forget when he bagged 4 against Watford. You see what he done to Watford?
Yeah,
you see what he done to them, man. Do you see what he done to Tottenham? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Salah's been scoring them goals in 17-18, where he's taken on 4 man and scored.
But you know what it is with Salah? The reason why I mean, there's a few reasons why I think he's better this season than that 17-18. But one reason why it's also impressing me a lot is that 17-18 was his first season back in England. I don't think a lot of defenders and teams and other teams knew how to play against him, that, as much as obviously they do now. Obviously, that was his first season. He was kind of, obviously he'd been at Chelsea, but obviously he didn't really get enough game time there, didn't really perform there. He was too young. Now he comes to Liverpool's first season back in the Prem after that. He's kind of unknown the way he plays at the moment to other teams. But now, obviously, after being here for a few years, rival teams know what Salah's all about, know what he's capable of, knows how he plays. And that's probably what's impressed me the most, the fact that he's balling out to this extent whilst teams are aware of how good he is in the league. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not an unknown quantity anymore. He's performing when he is known fully to the league. Do you get what I mean? So,
he's
Nick, what are your thoughts? Is this Salah better than...
Great.
Pardon, bro?
I said he's just been inevitable, hasn't he? Like, his consistency levels since 2017 have been nuts. They've been like,
in terms of goal scoring,
unreal.
100%. In terms of goal scoring, there's nothing to criticise there. But Nick, I'll go to you about Salah as well. Is this Salah better than 17-18 for you so far?
Yeah, you know what? That's a very good point you say, because that's one of the points I was thinking of. To be able to produce in a league that is as good as ours, time after time, when people are adapting to your game and you're still slapping it, is ridiculous. I do think that he's probably going to break the record this season.
I agree.
I think his game maturity, like people talk about Salah's assists. Do you know how many assists he would have if man had like some of the balls he's putting in that? Like, I'm like, yo, you're actually learning that. You know, them ones there. Like it's nice to see, man. I feel like his confidence, and I feel like he's one of them ones where he's a confidence player as well. And I feel like he's brought into the hype as well. He knows he's like, yo, I am the best player in the world, and I feel like we're gonna reap the best out of him off that. Do you know what I mean?
I think his confidence is just sky high at the moment as well.
Yeah, no, definitely it is. That's what I'm saying, and I think it's only gonna just produce the best Salah for the team. I think he knows as much as whereas before it was just, I want to make an impact. Now he's like, yo, we need trophies. You know, the ones there, and then I'm seeing that about his game. I'm actually seeing that about his game a little bit more. And so yeah, no, I'm very impressed. And I said this to you, brother. I said this to you. Don't try and do this like grown up presenter vibes. Like, oh, so what you think about Salah? I used to. I've been told you, brother. Like, fix up, bro. Salah is the truth, bro. But anyways.
No, like I said, I've never doubted Salah as a goal scorer. I've just doubted
you said Salah is absolute dog wash out of your mouth. Not goals. No, he's a good goal scorer, but out of your he shit. Nah, man, like he's overrated. He's just overrated. Like, and
I don't regret what I've said over the last couple of years. This season, Salah this season, I love him, but I'm not going to act as if Salah in the last couple of years before
last season, without Salah's goals, we do not get third.
Exactly, I've never doubted him as a goal scorer.
Anyways, we move.
Why are you biting? I've habituated to it now. Did you see me twitch? You know, man, I'm about the twitching.
Yeah, but you ain't really gone out there and said things. Man's gone out there with big chests. Like, there's been...
We've had this argument. I bugged out. I skitzed out. Like, I think it was about 5 months ago. I skitzed out, bro. I literally listed Salah's... I went into detail and listed the qualities. Right? I know you remember that day, fam. I skitzed out.
I remember it.
But I saved that skits for Big Six Bands. I saved that for Casey and them, man.
But listen, I got to roll out, man. So,
calm.
No worries, my guy. Yeah,
nice to meet you.
Come on, G, come on.
All that, man. Like,
say LFC TV. You know what time it is? I've just dropped the preview for the Southampton game, so go and check that out, please.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe.
Get him to 500 subs, people.
Yeah, please.
500 subs, make it happen.
And make sure you're checking out these man in it. Definitely him. He's cornering these man on his channel. So yeah, love everyone. Boom.
Love, bro. Love my guy. Cheers for coming on, my guy.
In a piece. Safe cams in a bit, bro.
Take care, man.
Unsafe.
Take care, man. So yeah, obviously we've spoken about Salah there. Let's move on to this. Is an interesting one. Mane. This is a really interesting one for me. How do you think he's done so far this season?
He's going first on that because
You go first with this.
It's a strange one. I'll go. Do you want me to go first, or do you want?
I've been listen. I'll be. Let me just go out of it. Innit? I've been anti-Mane like for a hot second because last season was unacceptable for someone as
it was
for someone of his, like, he was playing against us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was.
Like,
he was.
Go. You can, as I said, go find all the clips from me over last season, and you'll hear me say the same shit. So, but this season, I'm not gonna say Mane's back because you know if Mane's back. However, it's a thing where improvements have been made from last season, and I think that's helped with the crowd and stuff like that. But he still looks a bit wonky at times, a bit clumsy. But I think he's gained his knack for goal. He has got his knack for goal back again, which I'm really happy for that, because if he is starting to put in bad performances, at least I can know I'm going to get a goal from him, at least.
Yeah.
You know? And people, the Mane fanboys are going, oh, when Salah does nothing all game, but he scores, it's, why don't you say that with Mane? Da-da-da-da. Because Salah's always been better than Mane, bro. Like, I don't understand that. Like,
do you think Salah was better in the 1920 seasons?
Yeah.
1920, no. 1920, no.
Oh, in 1920?
I think Mane was better than him in both seasons.
Was ridiculous.
Mane
was ridiculous in 1920.
I think that's a conversation to be had, but for me, Salah's always been better than Mane. For different, like, I just know that conversation for another episode, isn't it? But I just think that people are still clinging on to this. The Mane hack didn't last for 2 seasons. It was a season and a half when he was like top 2 players in the world, innit? Do you know what I mean? When he was like,
I did think 18, 19, 19, 20.
18, 19, he was better than 19.
Second half of the season when Salah went on that goal drought, he was scoring a lot of goals.
Right, but that's what I said. But Salah's bar is higher than Mane's. Like, and I know Mane's all round game.
I agree.
Like, so, of course, the consistency shows. Like, do you know what I mean? But anywho, I just, Mane, for me, I'm very happy that he's been getting his goals in big games too. This is what's mattering to me. It's actually in big games. He's not scoring for the goals. This is what's important to me. And he's still a nightmare for defenders. I feel like he's only going to get better. And I can't wait to see him get back to his normal form, because he's said that he wants to stay at the club. I really hope that he can get better to how he was, and then we'll be a force again, because Salah's back to his best. Now all we need is Mane to get back to his best, and we're all of a sudden we're the best team in the world.
I hear that, man. I hear that. I mean, with Mane, it's a weird one. I'm like you. I actually don't still think his performances this season overall in games, there's been so many I still think that haven't been good enough in my opinion.
Leeds, especially Leeds,
when he had like 10 shots and then eventually scored 1. Chelsea at home, I thought he was very poor. City, I thought against City, even though he was quite poor against City.
He's 50-50, innit? Like,
yeah. And there are other games, Brentford, etc., where actually his overall performances have been quite poor in my opinion, and nowhere near the level that we saw in 18, 19, 19, 20. But it's just the numbers are there, man. Like, I ain't really a numbers guy, but like, I just
can't argue with the thing. It's one of the ones you can't argue with, innit? Like, if he's bagging in big games.
My dad about it, and it was like,
do you know what? I can't.
He got these numbers still. His performances don't represent the fact that he should have these numbers, but he does. And at the end of the day, he's still scoring goals. His numbers are still very good this season. So, I'll go to you on this. Mane's a strange one this season.
See, for me, I'm kind of in the same boat as Mons. Like, I've been on to Mane for a little bit. Like, you see, last season
he was poor last season.
Pretty decent. He started, but if you remember,
he started alright.
He started okay.
Start of October, he got COVID and he was out for a month. Since he came back from COVID, he was absolutely terrible. Everything was gone. Like, first touch, decision making.
Oh, it was horrible.
Especially decision making.
Yeah, that especially
horrible.
It was awful.
Like, before that, his decision making was very good. Like, he knew when to make the right pass. He knew when to make the run, when to shoot, stuff like that. It was perfect.
He went from controlling the ball over his shoulder from Van Dyke 80-yard pingers to 60-yard pingers to then. But to be fair, listen, like, even though he did like Cam said, he started 2021 season very well, innit? Like, I think up to October, like he said before, until he got COVID. But even off the back of when we won the league. So as soon as he won the league after the Chelsea game, he was whacked for the rest of the season, though, apart from the Palace game at the end.
I thought most players were whacked for the rest of that season.
Yeah, we were definitely still drunk, but Mane stayed drunk. Like, I think I said it the other day, it was very rude. When Mane, I think it was after the Leeds game, I was so angry at Mane after the Leeds game, even though he scored. I said he's been drunk. He's been drunk since he won the league.
He had more shots than Leeds that game. It was terrible.
I said, no, this guy's been drunk since we won the league.
Even this season, I think all he's done is found his shooting boots again. But other than that,
he doesn't look his shooting boots, bro. I think
it doesn't look too different.
Yeah, to be fair, he's beat a few players one-on-one, which is a plus. But look how the way we're speaking about him. Even in this, it feels wrong.
He has been better than last season, 100%.
Oh, 1,000%.
I just got to call a spade a spade, innit? I just got to call a spade with Mane.
I still don't think it's the level that we know he's capable of.
Nowhere near.
And maybe that's a positive, because if he has got the numbers there, and the only way is up. He has got gears to go up. So if he can go up those gears, then he's just gonna be mad. What I will say is I still know that defenders are scared of playing against him.
Yeah, he's definitely got the fear factor. And I think if Mane stays like this forever, I'll still take it. I'll still take this Mane. Yeah. And then maybe look to get someone in a bit. Like this Mane right now, I'm not on him in it at all, and I think that's unfair to not be on him.
C1 London actually asks, has Mane been that bad this season though? It's just like
he hasn't been bad. We just have standards for him. We have standards for him.
Yeah, we know what he's capable of, and he's nowhere near that level.
Exactly. We're not going to accept him being worse than what he was. Like that's just a myth. Like we know what he can be, so we're not going to accept anything less than that.
The only thing with Mane is that obviously it had a knock-on effect throughout the team. So when Mane was playing bad, I remember Robertson Mane link-up was devastating. No one was
that left-hand side going forward was
like that left side link-up was
coincided with Robertson's bad form in terms of Mane 100%. Went off the boil and it affected Robertson, and because Mane's never really reached the level that he was, it means that Robertson's not kind of being the same player.
Yeah, that's what I think, because them man used to do 1-2s round the corner, behind the lines. Do you know what I mean? Like Mane would even cover for Robertson sometimes and just let him do his thing, let him just go on
the inside run into the box.
Yeah,
Mane would find him
and to be fair, even when I see Tsimikas, because I see Tsimikas try to do the little link up, and it's not as effective as how Robertson used to do it, but I can see they're trying to implement it in it.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that was I used to say as well. I said Robertson and Mane. It's now affecting Robertson. Like, and now obviously Robertson's barely crossing the ball and stuff and all that stuff, and it's just like, yeah, an effect of both of them. Can't lie.
I hear that, man. Also, quick one on the attack as well. Jotter and Firmino. We won't go into too much detail about this, but when Firmino is back fit, who are you starting between those two?
Firmino.
100%.
Always.
Not because I play full stand on clubs, by the way.
Nah, I love Firmino. He's always been my favourite Liverpool player. But besides that, like, I need a forward that it can stick with up front. I don't want three runners up front. I need a guy that the ball can stick with. And
we're not Man United.
I hate.
We need the balance up front. Firmino gives that balance at the end of the day.
100%.
I'll take that back. As I said, look, Mane's now got his shooting boots on. So man, them don't need to watch Firmino's goals. They don't need to watch that. You don't need to watch Firmino's goals if Mane and Salah are both scoring. I said this to so many people. If Mane and Salah scoring 20 GA plus in all comps, why the hell do I need Firmino on 20 goals? I don't even need him on 10.
Bro, we won the league and these men were talking about Firmino's goals. They were proper clutching at straws. This is how mad these guys were.
Brothers, Firmino playing full stand has won us 2 of the biggest trophies in football.
You know that
in the last 4 years. So he's doing something right, people. Like
when we won the league in 1920, in the first half of the season, I'd say up until February, Firmino wasn't smoke, that season.
He was.
Especially against Newcastle. Oh my days!
That assist was that's one of the best assists I've seen.
That was when he was doing the. Did you guys remember the chance in the Champions League where he raboned it
against
Genk, to Mane and he missed it?
My head was hot.
Blood on his hands. That assist would have been talked about for years.
Disgusting, man.
Like, and then there was also the game against Southampton where he got 3 assists. Remember?
Yeah, that was at Anfield as well.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so for me, but the only thing about Jotter though, I do love the little movement that he's got. I love that. The little movement, the last minute movement that he's got. I think he's probably the best at that in the team in terms of that little last minute ability
as well. He's
great heading ability. Great heading ability.
Yeah, for the fact the biggest guy, his heading ability is very good. I'll give him that.
Yeah, but I just think in terms of transition, I want Firmino in it. Attacking transition is where we're most effective. And I think you see, people ain't seen this, but you see the Thiago, Firmino are the only ones on. Thiago has a certain wavelength that no one else is on, by the way. Thiago has a wavelength that no one else has got. But Firmino's the only one that can play on that.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Like that tapped, you know, the tapped tiki taka, Luis Enrique World Cup winning. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Only Firmino is on that Thiago level in it. So, and I've noticed it. When I've seen them play together, I've looked very closely. Thiago passes to Firmino more than he will zip it into Firmino, and he won't hesitate.
Because he knows it can stick with Firmino. He knows he can handle that under pressure as well with man round him.
Yeah,
he knows back to goal. He knows.
Facts, man. But quick question here: do you guys think you will win the Champions League? Large up the panel, large up you, bro.
Yes, I'm saying it much.
I think we're the most feared team in the champs.
You reckon?
Over 2 legs.
Over 2 legs, definitely. People that try to come at Anfield.
I've got a question for 2 questions in. I've kind of got 2 questions for both of you. I'll go to you first, Mons. What would you, if I was to tell you, I want to win, you know, everything that's on the table in it. But if we could only win one of the Premier League or Champions League this season, which one would you pick? And also, if we were to win one, which one do you think it would be?
I'm choosing the Prem because I'm tired. Like that just kind of stops any other arguments in terms of you got one Prem, you're on the same as.
And then we level with United,
and all them brothers over there.
That doesn't even bother me, anyways. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, if I win, I'll be honest, man. This sounds arrogant, innit? But if I win a 7th champs, like I don't care. G. Like, I care. Like I'm gonna go to the parade. I'm gonna be crying. I'm gonna be but I'm gonna be drunk. But bro, like there's no English team with even half our Champions Leagues. I think Man United have 3. Do they have 3? Like them man like are halfway. I want more Prems.
We need to stack up the Prems now, yeah.
Yeah, I want more Prems, and I want a cheeky FA Cup in there somewhere. Like,
I want the FA Cup badly.
I want us to win an FA Cup because
it's all good,
like winning a trophy here and there. I want to start winning doubles. This is how you prove you're a great team. Start winning some doubles.
100%.
Yeah, but what was I gonna say? And if he was to win one this season, I reckon it will be the Champions League over the Premier League though. Just because of Chelsea's consistency and squad depth.
Yeah.
Same question to you, Cam. Same 2 questions to you, man.
Me, I'd rather win the Champions League because with me, when people say, "Oh, you've only won 1 Prem," like I don't care. Like we've won the Prem. If this team wins another Champions League, like we're talking one of the great Premier League teams. Like great. I don't care if it's only won 1 Prem. But me, how I felt when we won the Champions League last time, like no feeling will ever beat that. Nothing will ever beat that feeling.
Even more special feeling when you win champs still.
I know we won the Prem. Everyone knew we was winning the Prem months prior to when it got confirmed. But nothing will ever beat that feeling of winning the Champions League. And I will take that 100,000,000% over winning another Prem.
Yeah, I heard that. For me, I'm kind of with Monts in terms of I would pick the Prem, even though I do think the Champions League is the better. Is the bigger trophy.
It's the red ribbons, G. It's the red ribbons.
Yeah, I just think with the Prem, we need to start stacking them up now. One more, you know, we win the second one, and then we're level with Manchester United. You know, I want that title record back. The Champions League record ain't going anytime soon that we've got in terms of
literally.
Bro, can I just say, could you imagine the chance? Like their 20 times chance just is gone. If we win another Prem.
That's why I'd rather win the Prem as well.
We need to start singing that if we win 20 times, innit?
100%. And they can't sing that anymore if that happens. But yeah, that's why I'd rather win the Prem. Get level with them, you know, so they're not ahead of us anymore. And you know, I just think we need to stack up on more Prems now still. After only winning 1 in 30 years, I still think we need to start, you know, winning more and more of them still. So that's why I'd go with the Prem. But I'm actually with Mons. If we were to actually win one, I do think it would probably be the Champions League. I want everything. I want the quadruple, bro. But like, if we were to win one of the Prem or Champions League, I would say it would be the Champions League still. So yeah, I'd agree with you, Mons. To be fair, big up Abdallah, who says, big up Mons, Ryan and Cam. People, make sure you pepper the like button, subscribe if you're new as well. Big up to you, Abdallah. Simon London asked, Ryan, would you say your right hand side is more intelligent and technically gifted than the left? I said 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's not even close.
Thiago,
but then again, Thiago playing left centre mid though.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
I think are you talking
left
about
centre mid and Tsimikas is more technical than Robertson?
Mane, Robertson, and then Salah and Trent. instead of bringing the midfielders into it?
I'm only saying it like because it's more of a like think about it. Thiago, his technical ability just eclipses everyone.
Whichever side Thiago's on, I'm with it.
Like obviously Trent, I think one of the most intelligent players in the league, easily, probably top 2, up there with KDB and Pogba in terms of game intelligence. But Tsimikas is more technical than Robertson. So if Tsimikas plays, I think he needs something like in terms of technical. If you're talking just technicality, and but Mane was mad techie as well when he was good though. Like.
Would you say he was techie when he was good?
Isn't Virgil our left-sided centre back?
Yeah, left-sided centre back. Mane was techie. Like you don't have to look clean with it to be techie. I promise. The man now off balance are just as techie.
Mane was just so unorthodox, though. I thought that defenders just didn't know what
Suarez was unorthodox. Suarez was falling
over. The ball was bouncing off of his shins and stuff. Like, trust me.
But Suarez meant I guarantee Suarez meant every bit of that.
Oh, definitely.
Every single little nick off his shin, he meant that.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I'm glad you mentioned Suarez, actually, because when we were talking about Salah's season this season, obviously, do you think Salah could this season on an individual thing, because Salah could win the trophies this season, which is something that Suarez didn't do that season, but in terms of just how good individual level and how high the level those two were at, do you think Salah could overtake what Suarez did that season in terms of the play overall this season? Because I can't lie, I don't think he can. I just think that Suarez
I pray to the Lord he does,
something else.
Because then he can have a better season than Henry, and then after that the Arsenal fans can say nothing. They can't say nothing.
Oh, I'd love it to happen.
They can't say nothing to me because if he gets more than 44 GA, because Salah's got 43 GA, by the way, he's already done 43 GA. If he gets 44 or 45 GA and wins a trophy, I'm on Henry. I'm here for all the Henry comparisons. I'm here for it all.
But I just can't lie, bro. That Suarez season, I don't think I've ever seen anything like it, and I don't think I'll see anything like it again.
Yeah, in terms of all-round game, we'll never see anything like that again.
What
and he missed like 5-6 games, did he not?
Through suspension, yeah.
If he plays those games, he's whitewashing that record. He's whitewashing that record, I promise.
Suarez was ridiculous that season. And the fact that we didn't have a good team that season. We didn't have a team anyway. That should have been
a brilliant attack, but
we were decent in attack. But I mean, you saw the effects of losing Suarez had at the end of the season.
It was Suarez and Sturridge though. It was Suarez and Sturridge
that season as well. But Suarez, like, he had no right. He carried that team to within 2 points of the title, and we should have won it.
I don't really. Listen. I hear he did carry the team, but Sturridge defo carried.
Sturridge
was fantastic,
especially in the first, I think, 7 games. So Sturridge held the record for Liverpool scoring in the most consistent games in a row. He held that record.
He scored the win against United.
We won 1-0 for 4 games in a row. You know, 1-0
Sturridge, 1-0 games in a row. We won 1-0, and Sturridge scored the winner.
And then he went and got the hat at West Brom when he chipped my man. Was it Foster that he chipped? I don't know, but yeah.
Against West Brom.
Sturridge was ridiculous, man.
He's my favourite Liverpool footballer.
I used to get him on the back of all my shirts, Sturridge.
You know, Daniel Sturridge is the footballer at Liverpool that, when I think about it, it makes me the most sad.
Yeah.
I just think what could have been if it weren't for the injuries.
Yeah, because people were like waiting for him to be. They wanted him to be the England number 9. Like, they wanted him to play alongside Rooney. Like, people were ranting and raving for England. Like,
do you know what made me sad? When we sent him on loan to West Brom. Like, that's when I knew it was done. Like, when we sent him on loan to West Brom, I was like, yeah, this is.
And then how about this though? When I saw Sturridge even on the bench, do you know how happy I was? Like, when he scored that banger against Chelsea.
Oh my God.
In 18-19. I shouted, oh my days. I remember exactly where I was, what I was doing.
I remember where I was.
When he scored against PSG. He scored against PSG in that first game.
Bro. Yeah. Bro, Sturridge done it right 18-19. It's not a joke still.
Sturridge scored some important goals. He's got some important goals.
And, bro, like, there was one season, though, I think it was 16-17 when Mane first came, where the Sturridge-Mane link-up was hard. Like, bro, and that was when Sturridge was still fast. Remember when he had the haircut? He was like, half of it was like up and half of it was down. And he had that weird high top where he was still fast. And then he scored the brace against Tottenham and everyone thought he was back. He got
Mane
injured
off the
again.
right as well. Mane off the right was cold.
Yeah, right wing Mane tapped, safe.
Oh
First
yeah,
game
right
of the
wing
season
Mane
against
was
Arsenal, gone, safe.
Yeah, right wing Mane was god tier still. He had to go away for AFCON as well, no?
He went away for AFCON. We went on shit form. He came back and we kind of upped it, and then he got injured again for the rest of the season, and we just about got.
Yeah, Wijnaldum. The game went down to the last day when Wijnaldum scored in their post. We won 4-1. Coutinho free kick. Sturridge scored at the game before.
Do you remember Emre Can's bicycle kick?
Oh,
yeah, against Watford.
Yeah.
Against Watford.
Yo.
Yeah, man. Simon London saying, guys, respectfully, Henry over Suarez, about everyone's opinion. You know what it is with me?
As a career,
being Henry week in, week out. I'm too young. Suarez for me is the best striker that I've seen since watching football.
I'm gonna be real. As a career, Suarez eclipses Henry.
He does. I've said
as a career, people won't know because again, that's people's goat. Like that's like me saying, like I like your stepmom more than your mum, bro. Like like Henry is literally people's mums and dads.
Henry's people's heroes.
That's your god, G. Like so, when I hear a dickhead like Suarez who's biting people, he's had a racist allegation. Like when they see a man like that getting put in the same bracket, it's gonna hurt you. I hear it, but at the same time, Suarez has the third most assists of all time, and he's about 2 assists away from it being second.
Man's a number 9 as well, you know. It's not even if he's like some number 10 or something like.
He left Barca and went and won the league. He's the key.
5 league. I think he's won 5 La Ligas, 4 with Barca, 1 with Atletico, Copa del Rey, Champions League.
People need to remember as well the Henry that left Arsenal wasn't the same Henry. The one that went to Barca was not the same.
Suarez got better with age. Henry got worse. But when Suarez was winning leagues and Champions Leagues at the same age that Henry was playing in America. Just
you know what it is though. What I'll say is that I think this shows kind of like a lot of ignorance with English fans in the you just watch Premier League in terms of they'll judge Henry over Suarez purely based on what he did in the Premier League, and obviously Henry's got a greater Premier League legacy because he was here for longer. Woodmore was in a great team, whereas Suarez wasn't here for too long, you know, and obviously didn't really win anything because he wasn't in a great team. But go and ask Barcelona fans, innit? That's all I'll say. Go and ask
bro, Suarez hit a 50 bomb, G. 65 GA or 70 GA.
He's the only guy to win a European goal debut in Messi and Ronaldo's prime.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Suarez was a joke. I hear the Henry shouts, but even if you want to look at it statistically, Suarez's stats, if you look at Suarez's stats and you look at Henry's stats, you'll laugh. You'll laugh. You'll laugh at how much better Suarez's stats. You'll laugh, I promise you. And let's not act like they played in completely different times as well, because they both went to Barcelona at 31. Or 20, I think it was 29, 30. They both went to Barca at roughly the same age, if not a year apart. So I'm not
People can't even use the eye test a bit because they're both elite.
You know what it is as well? I think Henry played in a better Barcelona team on paper.
Because he had Ronaldo. Yeah, bro. Actually, I don't know. That MSN.
Nah, they had MSN, but actually when he had
Iniesta and Xavi in it.
Xavi was approaching the end when Suarez joined. That was like Xavi's last season at Barca, I think.
And he had prime Xavi and Iniesta.
The defense was definitely better with Henry's, in my opinion, with like Puyol, etc., and all these guys.
Henry didn't have
prime Dani Alves and the prime Dani Alves.
Oh, he might have had Dino for one season.
No, they had Dino for a season, G.
Yeah,
and I believe Eto'o might have been there as well.
Yeah, Eto'o was
there. That was Prime Eto'o.
Yeah, Prime Eto'o. So like Henry, I think he was in a probably better team at Barca. But all I'll say is, people, if you think Henry's better than Suarez, fine, that's fine. It's a valid opinion. But just ask Barcelona fans, innit? Because they saw them both at their club. They will say Suarez. All of them will say Suarez.
100%. Suarez was scoring in decisive games in that Champions League as well.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, Henry didn't do nothing in finals, G.
Do you remember him against PSG where he nutmegged David Luiz, put it through his legs and stopped
it twice, didn't he, in that game?
Yeah.
Ridiculous, man.
Madness. He's got a better Champions League legacy than Henry as well. I know Henry won one at Barca, but Suarez played definitely more of a part in the one he won than what Henry did in the one that he won.
Can I just say something? Yeah, as much as people love Henry, I think I like Henry as well. But when Henry lost his pace, he wasn't the same player. Like Suarez would lose his pace, and he's still that guy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I heard that, man. But yeah, we've got through a lot so far this show. I think we'll probably close it out there, people. Big up to everyone.
Score predictions before we go.
Oh, score predictions before we go. Yeah, Camp, I'll go to you first for tomorrow.
3-0 Liverpool. 3-0.
4-1.
4-1. You think we concede?
Yeah.
Fair. I would probably go for 2-0. I'll go comfortable 2-0. I'll go. But yeah, hopefully we win tomorrow. Big up to everyone who tuned in. You guys, have you got anything last to say before we close out?
Subscribe to Big Six Bands.
Yeah, subscribe to Big Six Bands always. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel, of course. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, exactly what they said, people. Subscribe to Big Six Bands. Subscribe to this channel as well if you're new. Like the video, join the membership, etc. The link for the membership can be found under the description. So yeah, you know what to do, people. Big up for tuning in, and we'll close out there. Big up, guys.